Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. Finally, in chapter 38, we get to hear from the Lord. The Lord has been silent for 36 chapters. We hadn't heard from the Lord since chapter 2. And now, after this conversation between Job and his friends, and Job just completely perplexed about what is going on, the Lord speaks to him out of the whirlwind. And scholars are divided as far as whether this was a literal whirlwind like a tornado that God is speaking out of, or the whirlwind was just figurative as God speaking into the chaos that Job is experiencing at the moment. In either case, the Lord speaks. And if a person is reading Job for the first time, they might be thinking, okay, great, finally we're going to get the answer. After this long debate about why God was afflicting Job, why Job was going through what he had to go through, finally we're going to get the answer. And in anticipation, we might come to chapter 38 and read chapter 39 and 40 and 41 thinking, okay, we're going to gain some information here. God's going to give us the answer to what Job is going through. But then as we read, we become a bit disappointed because there's not a clear answer. As a matter of fact, really, the answer that God gives them is not an answer really at all, except for, Job, what do you know? And God's basically asking Job questions and comparing his knowledge, his power, his greatness to Job, and trying to give Job some context and to help Job understand his position before God. And as we read it, we might be thinking, well, why is God speaking this way to Job? Because it almost seems like if we didn't know better, we'd think that God was trying to demoralize Job, trying to put him down, that God is kind of on a power trip or an ego trip and trying to just display how much he knows that Job doesn't know and how much powerful he is and how weak Job is. But if we read it that way, we're reading it completely wrong. And even though we're not really told specifically in the text exactly why God is speaking to Job like this, I think we can gather just by inference that God is speaking to Job in this way to impress upon him that in the time of suffering and in the time of uncertainty, it's not really knowledge that we need, but trust. God is teaching Job that he needed to trust the Lord, and reminding Job of God's knowledge, of reminding Job of God's power, and then allowing Job some space to kind of reflect on how big of a separation there is between the knowledge of God and the power of God and his own knowledge and his own ability to understand things. It allows Job the opportunity to reflect on and consider the need for trust in God, and not just having an answer, not just getting a reason for the suffering, but rather being encouraged to just trust the Lord, that the Lord does have the knowledge, he does have the power, and that he can work out things in the proper way. When we get into Job's response in chapter 42, he'll say, therefore I declared that which I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. And to allow Job to know that there's just some things that are working that you don't even know about. They're too wonderful for you. You can't fully comprehend them. But what you need to do, Job, in this situation is just trust me and realize that I am the one who set a border for the seas. I am the one who created the ostrich and the hawk and the eagle and the lion, and I provide for them and I work with them, and I know things about them that you don't know. You need to trust me. I've got creation handled. I take care of creation. I've created all things. I've created everything with order. So you need to trust me. And so that allows us then, as we read the book of Job, to reflect on our response to sufferings. Because often when we suffer, isn't that exactly what we want? We want an answer. Why did this happen to us? Or why did this happen to me? Here I am trying to serve the Lord. I'm living a righteous life. And then this tragedy has come in. How could the Lord allow this to happen? And those are some very legitimate questions that we ask. But at the same time, the Lord is also calling us to look past those questions and to just simply trust Him, and to realize that sometimes we don't have all the answers, and to be okay with not having the answers. In the book of Philippians, it talks about the peace that surpasses all understanding. And oftentimes we interpret that as just saying that it's a peace that we can't fully understand. But in the original language, it really means that this peace that God can give us in the hard times and in the difficulty surpasses knowledge, surpasses being able to understand what it's all about. And there he says that if we pray to the Lord, if we seek the Lord, that He'll give us a peace that surpasses knowledge. In other words, that's better. The peace that He gives us is better than Him just giving knowledge and understanding of why we're going through what we're going through. And all the while that He supplies the peace, we're trusting Him, and we're waiting on Him and relying on Him to bring us through the difficulty, even if we don't have a clue why we're going through it. So as we get to the end of Job, we really get to the crux. We get really to the lesson that God is bringing Job to and giving Job. And that is, in suffering, we don't need knowledge. Ultimately, what we need is trust. To know that God is in control, He knows what He's doing, and we can rest in knowing that He knows what He's doing. So these are some things we can reflect on as we're coming to the close of the book of Job. We have one more reading left, but let's think about these things, reflect on them today and even tomorrow, and hopefully it'll help us gain some understanding so that when we encounter tragedy and difficulty, we can learn to trust in the Lord and understand that He knows what He's doing and He's in control. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.